closely at this image. Do you see it? The grain, the dark wood, the faint, shimmering patina on the glass. This isn't just a mirror. It's the reason I haven't slept properly in 3 months. My name is Jerry, and what I'm about to tell you, it's going to sound crazy. I bought this magnificent 6-foot-tall Victorian dressing mirror at an estate sale in Salem, Massachusetts. The price? A ridiculous $100. The old woman practically begged me to take it off her hands. She mentioned something about it being backward, but I just thought she was senile. When I brought it back to my apartment, my beautiful, sunny 6th-floor studio, I realized what she meant. Every single thing reflected in that colossal piece of glass was perfectly, impossibly inverted. Not left to right, no, upside down. The ceiling was the floor. The light was dark. I figured it was some forgotten trick of Victorian craftsmanship, a novelty. It was unsettling, yes, but also a masterpiece. I had to have it.
For the first 2 weeks, it was just a strange quirk. My friends would visit, and they'd stand there, mesmerized and dizzy, watching their own inverted world. It was a talking point, a fun, slightly eerie piece of decor. But then the subtle changes started. It was a Tuesday. I was getting ready for work, adjusting my tie. I looked into the glass, and for a split second, I didn't see my own reflection upside down. I saw myself, right side up, but different. My hair was longer, my clothes were slightly rumpled, and the look in my eyes wasn't just my confusion, it was pure, raw terror. Then, with a slow, agonizing ripple, the world flipped back to its inverted state. I rubbed my eyes. I checked my coffee. I even searched the internet for Victorian inverted mirror to see if this was a known effect. Nothing. But the moment had planted a seed of doubt, a little sliver of ice in my gut. I started feeling watched. Like the mirror wasn't just reflecting the room anymore, it was gazing back.
This is where the story shifts from weird to terrifying. After that first glimpse, the full right-side-up reflection of myself began appearing more frequently. It wasn't random either. It was happening exactly at 11:13 p.m. every single night. I started recording it on my phone, setting up a tripod. On the 4th night of filming, I captured it. The room, inverted, suddenly corrects itself, and for about 5 seconds, I see a clear, high-definition image of myself standing in my apartment, looking horrified. But that night, there was something new. A dark shadow, fleeting, right at the edge of the frame, behind the reflection of my own shoulder. I couldn't make out what it was, but the feeling was immediate. Malevolence. The inverted reflection of my apartment, the one where the ceiling was the floor, it suddenly felt like the real apartment, and the right-side-up version was the dangerous, temporary intrusion. I started sleeping with the lights on, keeping my gaze locked on the mirror until 11:14 p.m., just to survive the switch.
The cycle continued for a week. 11:13 p.m., the flip, the fear, and the shadow getting clearer. This wasn't a trick of the light anymore. This was a man. He was tall, wearing a black hoodie pulled low. I couldn't see his face, but his presence in that right-side-up reflection was suffocating. Then, last Wednesday, he did something new. In the brief 5 seconds of clear reflection, he wasn't just standing there, he was moving, slowly, deliberately, and he was holding something. At first, I thought it was a flashlight or maybe a pipe, but as the image flickered
and then returned to the normal, inverted reflection, my blood went cold. It was a knife, a long, wicked-looking blade. I was looking at myself, terrified, in my own apartment, and standing right behind my reflection, a reflection that was otherwise a perfect mirror image, was a stranger with a knife. The inverted world was shielding me. The correct world was dangerous.
I knew I had to get rid of the mirror, but I couldn't move. It was like I was anchored to it, waiting for the nightly ritual. I was trapped in this bizarre self-imposed surveillance. Then came the night that solidified my horror. I was shaking, watching the clock tick down to 11:13 p.m. when the flip happened. The reflection of myself, the right side up, terrified version, didn't just stare. It moved its lips. I couldn't hear anything. The sound didn't cherry across the glass barrier, but I could read the reflection's lips. He's here. And then the killer in the hoodie, standing right behind my reflection, raised the knife. I instinctively spun around in my actual apartment. Nothing, just the empty space behind my sofa. But when I looked back, the reflection of the killer wasn't looking at my reflection anymore. It was looking right at me.
I screamed. Not a cinematic scream, just a raw, choked noise. I finally realized the terrifying truth. The inverted reflection was my present, safe, strange, but secure. The correct reflection was a vision of my imminent future. The killer wasn't behind me yet. He was on his way, and the mirror was showing me the exact moment he would arrive. That night, the reflection stayed correct for almost 30 seconds. The hooded figure lunged, and my reflected self recoiled, knocking over a reflected lamp. I heard a faint, distinct shing sound, like metal scraping against glass, not in the reflection, but in my actual room. The killer was close. I grabbed the first thing I could, a heavy brass lamp, and I brought it down on the mirror with all the desperate strength I had left. Smash!
The sound was deafening. Glass exploded everywhere. When the ringing in my ears subsided, I stood alone in a pile of antique debris. The mirror was gone. The upside-down world, the terrified me, the hooded figure, all gone. I finally felt safe enough to move, but as I was cleaning up the larger pieces, I found something. Embedded in the deepest layer of the shattered frame, a small laminated card. It was a newspaper clipping from 1957. The headline, "Local man killed in home invasion. Suspect still at large." Below the headline was a blurry picture of the victim, and next to it, an artist's sketch of the attacker. The victim looked exactly like me, just older. And the sketch of the killer. It was the man in the black hoodie. The reflection wasn't my future. It was the moment of the original owner's death playing out for me, and I had broken the mirror just before the fatal blow. But here's the thing. The police never caught the killer, and the only thing remaining of that mirror is a single postcard-sized shard of glass I kept. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm afraid to. Because if the reflection is right side up now, does that mean he's already here?